Kind of all started with my sister, my older sister, who has always been on the forefront of social justice and even was working with at-risk boys in inner city Boston after she graduated college. And she got me Robbie Rogers' book, Coming Out to Play, for Christmas one year. And I was on trial in Ireland. I was reading the book by myself in the restaurant, and a random guy who was sitting at the table next to me saw the book and started talking to me, and he was actually writing his master's thesis on homophobia in football. And so I ended up sitting down with him and having a full conversation and interview just about what my experience had been like, what it seems like the locker room had been like. And that really, really made me reflect and think about my past and how using homophobic slurs and the power of language and how dangerous that was and how negative it was, without understanding that it was so negative. And it really made me think, statistically, I've played with a player who identifies as LGBTQ, and it really made me sad that I would have unknowingly made them uncomfortable or made them afraid to come out and be who they truly were just because, they wanted to play. And those two ideals should not be separated. You shouldn't have to hide who you are to play sports. And it really hit home the idea of young kids who are struggling with their sexual orientation, who want to come out and don't feel comfortable because they want to participate in sports. And so that's when I really started to speak out and to educate myself for the younger generation that as a pro athlete, that I support you. I get to do something that I love, and that's what I want most for everyone else, to be happy and be who they are regardless of their sexual orientation, and that they do belong in sport, and especially soccer, where I think it's such an inclusive sport. Athletes drive our culture, I think. You see a lot of intertwining of music, art, and athletes, and that's where our community culture comes from, and that's what influences what young kids are doing. They look to the athletes, and it's good that people are finally speaking out and can go beyond sports, and they can show. I think athletes are leading the way in that fight, against bullying people because of their sexual orientation, and we're just reaching young kids who are struggling with their own identities, that they're included in sport and they have a place. It kind of comes back to my sister too, because she was always pushing me to use my platform for good and more, but at the time, it was like, focus on sports, like don't ruffle any feathers, don't choose a side in any direction, whether it's political or anything really. It was just like, sports, I have fans on both sides of the spectrum, don't make anybody mad. And that's really changed because of, I think, a national leader like Athlete Ally, where you have a lot of people now speaking up, and it's great because in that realm we support each other and push each other to continue speaking up and doing the right things, and making it normal now, and to promote that positive change where a couple of years ago it was you didn't want to ruffle any feathers, but now we have a group and network to support each other. Make sure to support Athlete Ally by buying our Phoenix Rising Pride Tops. And for more information on how you can help the LGBTQI+ community, go to athleteally.org.